I was reading through the latest Pew Research that just came out, and I was startled to find out that according to their research, nearly 1 in 4 Americans raised Christian no longer even identifies that way. That's according to Pew, and it's happening right now, and the number's rising. So what's going on? We're going to talk about that today right here on the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. Hi there, my name is Todd Rhodes. I am one of the co-founders over at Chemistry Staffing, and I am your host here on the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. All right, so what's going on? Why are people leaving Christianity, and how can we respond as church leaders? Let's talk about that today. As I said, Pew's latest and newest data shows that religious switching is one of the most influential factors shaping the future of faith in the U.S. Christianity. And maybe you haven't even heard about this study. It just came out. Christianity is still the majority, okay? But more and more people are walking away, especially Gen Z and millennials. In fact, Pew found that only about 66% of U.S. adults identify as Christian in 2025. That's down from 90%. So it went from 90% back in the 1970s down to about 66% in this year, 2025. That's not just a drift, man. That's a seismic shift. So as church leaders, we need to look at that not just as a stat. This is somebody's son, somebody's daughter, somebody's former youth group student who just quietly disappeared from the faith. So why are they leaving? Pew identifies a few trends that they think have to do with some of this. The first is disillusionment with the truth, disillusionment with church leadership, not the truth, disillusionment with church leadership. And then, all right, I'm going to cut that there. Cut. Okay. And why are they leaving? Pew identifies a few key trends. One is disillusionment from church leadership, political entanglement, moral failure of leadership, it goes with that first point, and hypocrisy, and a personal desire for spirituality outside of organized religion, especially among younger people. Many aren't switching to a different religion, though. They're just walking into a new category, which we've all talked about before, the nones. No faith, no affiliation whatsoever. And here's the truth, though. People are asking spiritual questions, but they're not coming to the church for answers. And as church leaders, that's a problem. All right, is there any good news, Todd? Thanks. This is a great message for me on a Monday. Who's staying? That's the good news. The Pew also, in their research, they came up with who's not switching, okay? And those who tend to stay tend to have a few things in common. For example, they tend to have a strong relationship within their church. They're connected, okay? They feel their church aligns with their values, all right? And then they experience meaningful spiritual growth. So what is the glue? What is the thing that holds this all together that keeps people staying and keeps people from walking away from their faith? The glue, it's community, and it's purpose, and it's authenticity, authentic faith. That's the sweet spot. So that means if your church is building trust and offering relational discipleships, opportunities to connect, if you're staying focused on Jesus and not just politics or preferences, you're better positioned to retain the people that you already have and to reach new people. Todd, what in the world can that's alarming. I'm with you. What can we do in our churches today to help to stop this, at least in my local church? What can I do? Here are some suggestions. First of all, preach with authenticity, not a performance. Gen Z does not like performance. They will thrive on your authenticity, though. And then foster a genuine community, not just consumer-driven programs, and engage those people, not just inside your walls, but outside your walls. Engage those doubters. Don't ignore them. Create space where they can come in and your current people can ask really hard questions without any shame or retribution. And equip your team. Those people that are already on your team that aren't going anywhere, equip them to love, not just lead. Because this moment, it's not just a threat. It is, but it's more than that. If we're keen church leaders, this is a moment to kind of rethink and reimagine and recommit to our gospel mission. We have to. The shift is happening. The shift is real. But there's also an opportunity. And you can be in a place where your people run toward not from, when you lead with grace and truth and real community. I hope this has been helpful to you today. It's a wake-up call for sure, but it's also a call to really dig in and make a difference where you are. Taking just these simple steps, and you're probably already doing a lot of them, just doing these things will help mitigate the loss and the feelings that people have that the church isn't relevant in their life, and will help people from walking away from not only your church, but from their faith. All right, I'd love to hear your comments. If you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment in the comment section. If you're listening on the podcast, just send me an email, podcast@chemistrystaffing.com. I'd love to hear from you and hear your thoughts on this topic and maybe what you're doing in your church. All right, thanks so much. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining us here on the Healthy Church Staff Podcast.